I'd like to welcome you to yet another installment of Business Unearthed, where we talk all things business, we talk all things women, and as usual, I have a very special guest here with me who is based right here in Maun. Her name is Tebogo Nhlatho. And again, as usual, I'm only going to tell you her name. She's going to go ahead and introduce herself. I know that you're going to have such a phenomenal time today, and let me not waste any time. How are you?
I'm all right. Thank you very much for having me, Nompendulo.
Thank you so much for making the time to come in and be a part of this. So you can go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell us who you are, just a bit about yourself.
My name is Tebogo Nhlatho. I am a wife. I'm married to Dr. Maxwell Nhlatho. I've got two beautiful girls. And my first one has got a disability. She's got Down syndrome. I am an entrepreneur. I am a leader at church. I am a leader in the Down Syndrome Association of Botswana as well. And I am from Khabane. Mm-hmm. My parents are in Khabane, Mr. and Mrs. Mudiakhani. I have got 4 siblings. I'm the second one of 5.
Mm. I didn't know that. I thought you were somewhere there in the middle.
No, I'm the second born. Yeah.
And so can you just take us a bit through your history, your education, and all of that?
Yes, I am a physiotherapist.
Yes.
I graduated in 2005 with a Bachelor of Science in Physiotherapy. Mm-hmm. And I started working at Nyangago Hospital. Mm. In 2006, I was then later transferred to start a physiotherapy department at Tebogo Government Hospital, mm-hmm. of which I stayed only 1 year there. Interestingly, after my promotion.
Oh, wow.
And then I decided that I wanted to go in entrepreneurship. I wanted to start my private practice. Mm. I had always wanted to come to Maun. I strongly believe it's God who brought me here. Because other than me just wanting to come to Maun, I don't really know. I feel like, now I know, I feel like I was brought here for a purpose.
Yeah.
So I like to give hope to people. Mm. So it's one of those things that I feel like I was brought to Maun for.
Yeah. How did that come about? Sorry to interrupt. How did that come about? Because, a lot of people will usually want to run away from Maun until they are in Maun and they're like, oh my goodness, this is a really cool place.
Yeah, I think it's the mentality that we have as we grow. Like, I was born and raised in Gaborone.
Yeah.
The chances are I would have wanted to stay in Gaborone. I studied in Cape Town. It's a big city, so I was from a city to another city.
Yeah.
And even when I started working, I was fortunate to be asked by my then employer, where you want to work. I told them I wanted to work in Francistown.
Yeah.
I could have taken a post in Gaborone, but I decided to go in Francistown. I wanted to learn a different culture, different from how I grew up. So I decided to go to Francistown, and I learned a lot, and I met my husband in Francistown.
Okay. Uh-huh. Yeah.
So good things came out of me working in Francistown. So from Pikwe, after establishing the physiotherapy department, coming to Maun, I had my boyfriend, my now husband, but then I was not married. I quit my job. I decided I'm going to Maun. I came to Maun. I was staying in a 1-room, like a studio.
Wow.
Yeah. Maybe even a studio. Saying a studio is making it very modern.
Yeah, very fancy.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, very fancy.
It was just a humble place.
It was just a humble place, And I was with my brother, who was I'll forever be thankful to him, who was very kind enough to say, you know what, I'm also not working, let me go with you.
Wow.
So he was my receptionist, I was the physio, and I had to teach him the reception work and everything. I was the cleaner when I knock off.
Yeah.
I was the laundry lady when I knock off. I would take laundry to my house, and I was everything.
Yeah.
I was my own accountant. I was my own. I did my banking. I did everything for myself.
Yeah.
So and then later on, after working for. I've been in business since 2009.
Okay.
Yeah, I was 27 then. And my husband, who is a doctor, then decided that now let's grow the then Ngami Physiotherapy
Okay.
to Doctors In now. Let's make it bigger.
Okay.
You know, so we joined in. He joined in. He was working for government as well. He joined in 2014. Doctors In was born, and Doctors In, it was a doctor. We had a dentist. We had lab, and then later on we brought in the radiology department.
Okay.
So that's how Doctors In has been growing. You know, from humble beginnings.
To where
you
it
know,
is
we
now.
are still growing
Yeah.
even now. We have more departments. We now have even specialists. We have an orthopedic consultant. We have a pediatrician.
Yeah.
We have a physician as well. So these are professionals or specialists that now we have at Doctors In, and we are also expanding into a hospital.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, before we go on into that, because I feel like that comes a bit later in the story, you know, as you're sharing the growth of Doctors In from where it was, like you said again, Ngami Physio, to where it is. Did you always know that you wanted to venture into entrepreneurship? Or, you know, because it seems like, as you said, you stayed for a year, you had been given your promotion, and, you know, in another person's mind this is a great opportunity. So I don't know, is it something that you've always had at the back of your mind, or you just kind of came into it by chance, like, let me just try and see?
Actually, it was not by chance, you know.
Yeah.
I have always wanted to be an entrepreneur.
Wow.
From as early as 12 years.
So you were clear, like, I
was very, very clear. You know how it got clear, you know. There was a certain way I wanted to live.
Okay.
There were certain things that I wanted in life. I didn't want a life of bits and pieces from hand to mouth. I did not like. I did not want that life. We were not from my family. We were not poor, but I wanted more than what we had.
Yeah.
You know, and for some reason I always believed there is more to what we had.
Wow.
You know, and the reason why I said it was at 12 years, the what happened at 12 years, I was doing standard 6. There was a farm, a plowing field behind our home in Gabani.
Yeah.
So the owner of this plowing field started subdividing it into smaller plots.
Okay.
And selling them for $3,000 at that time.
Oh my goodness.
I guess in 1993, $3,000 was a lot of money, you know. So I then say to my parents, Papa, why don't you buy plots from this plowing field, from this farm that this lady is subdividing? And then he said, why we have a house? Why should I? I said, no, you buy them and then you start building smaller 2.5 houses, what we can call a bachelor pad. You know, I said, why don't you buy plots, even if it's 2 of them, and then you build this small house and then rent them out to people.
And how old were you at this time?
I was 12 years old.
My goodness.
You know what? I surprised myself.
You know, that's a very big thing, because when you talk about it, you know, I think children have that ability, that capacity to see things, and like you're saying, now you're tracing it back to that time. Yeah. So, and my father just dismissed me. He always thinking about, and interestingly, he remembered when we built our first rental property in Gaborone. He remembered. He reminded me. He said, Tebogo, do you remember? I can't remember how old you were, but you were at primary school. You said this to me. Now I see what you were talking about. My goodness.
You know, so that's when I knew that I'm different. I wanted an extraordinary life. You know, my parents were entrepreneurs when I grew up. My father was a combi man, and my mother, for most of my childhood, was a housewife. But later on, she started a business of sewing, tailoring, school track suits, and those things. You know, so the entrepreneurial spirit has always been there. It's from my parents. I mean, I remember when we were young, we will be counting 10 tebes coins, you know, from the combi income, So it has always been there. And I knew that I wanted to count more money than this. I wanted notes now,
Yeah.
So it's that's how entrepreneurship. I've always known that I wanted to be an entrepreneur, even when I was at university.
Yeah.
I had a friend of mine whom we had a notebook. We will write business ideas of what we wanted. We wanted to go into retail. We wanted to do that. We had so many ideas, So it has always been in me. I've always wanted good. Yeah. I've always wanted soft life.
Come on.
Yes, I've always wanted that. And I always tell people that should be the beginning.
Yeah.
If you want a certain life, first you can start by listing what is it that you want. I want a house that is worth 10 million bucks, for instance. I want my children to go to good schools.
Yeah.
For me, even, I've got a daughter with a disability. Now, I have to be thinking of other ways of educating her, giving her the resources and for her to be independent. And it requires money.
Yeah, it does.
It does. What kind of car do you want to drive? What impact do you want to how do you want to impact people in your community, the influence? My husband and I are very giving people.
Yes, you are.
So
I love that. Actually, sorry, you say this very important thing, and I love how in previous conversations you've been able to very clearly state that you're a philanthropist. And not many people want to admit that, but when it's in you, it's in you. When it's in you,
it's in you. I actually was reading about some personalities, and I came across something that is called enneagrams. And as I was doing they have a screening test, sort of, and then I'm actually an Enneagram 2.
Okay, I don't know what that means. I know about the Enneagram test, but I've never taken it.
But in short, what an Enneagram 2 is, they are very giving people.
Wow.
Sometimes even at their expense. Something that I'm learning that, I have to say, to put boundaries. That, what? Now sometimes, because people can see that heart in you, sometimes they exploit you somehow. So my husband and I are that. So for us, giving is important. Giving is who we are.
Yeah.
And we don't take it for granted that we are where we are for impacting other people. We strongly believe, as a Christian, I don't take it light that I'm just having what I have.
Yeah.
For just me and my immediate family only.
And I think it goes back to what you're saying, that it started with, I want this kind of life, and maybe it seemed like it was revolving a bit around you. And then you began to realize that, no, there's something bigger that I'm living for, and a greater impact that I can make when I don't look so much internally, but externally as well.
Yeah.
Tebogo, you're in entrepreneurship. You've been working at this for all of these years. Why is it important for people to be thinking in that manner? And also specifically, I'd also like you to answer the question of, when people think entrepreneurship, it's mostly, I want to open something and sell something, right? But not really thinking that I can be a lawyer and an entrepreneur. I can be a doctor, a physiotherapist, and an entrepreneur. How can people shift their mindset around that? We have people who are getting ready to graduate, and they want to go and work for someone. Maybe they can start there, but how can they shift their mindset as well to say, what, I can make an even bigger impact when I think beyond, working for someone, and also create employment myself?
Yeah. It's about mindset. Okay. It's about what you want. And what you believe you can change, what you believe you can share.
Okay.
It's about believing in yourself, first of all, and having a mindset that is hungry for success.
Yeah.
Having a mindset that want something different, you know. So it's how you want or how you view success that will say, do you now go directly into entrepreneurship or do you now start working for somebody? That's what, you know what, there's nothing wrong with working for
not at all, because even as an entrepreneur you need people who work for you.
Yes, you know, there's nothing wrong with working for people, and actually I would encourage it such that you get the experience first. You could be the best student from university, you know, but it does not mean that you'll make it as an entrepreneur. You know, there's a totally different mindset for you to be an entrepreneur. You have to develop a certain level of tenacity and determination. There's a lot of hard work that you have to put in. It's all, you know, it's not as easy as sometimes when you are doing a business course, maybe you think that because you are a business student,
I can easily implement this.
Yes, I can easily implement it. No, actually, when you're an entrepreneur, now when you are on the ground, when you are right there now, that's when you actually start learning entrepreneurship.
But if you could do it all over again, who would you do it?
I will definitely do it again. It is such a liberating feeling, experience that you don't want to exchange it with anything. You don't want to work for somebody else. You know, the time that being an entrepreneur gives you, you know, you are able to control your time. You know, you don't have somebody telling you at 9 to 5 this is what you'll be doing. You know, now it is your time. But having said that it is your time, you have control of your time, does not mean that you lazy around and not necessarily doing things saying that you have got time. As an entrepreneur, time is very, very valuable. Time is currency on its own, currency on its own. So it's important that you know what you want and your mindset is right also for the entrepreneurship journey. It's a long journey. It's not an easy journey. It's hard. It's really hard. People I know outside, there's an entrepreneur, people still see this cool lifestyle, you know, and they think it's easy, they're having it easy. And in our culture even, where people really think that as an entrepreneur, you've got a stack of cash somewhere there that everybody around you has got access or is entitled to. You know, there's that mentality in our culture, which is wrong, but I see that as people are reading and being exposed to different, they are learning, it's changing, which is actually very good. So, it's about that. But having said that, I encourage people to go into entrepreneurship, especially where we are in the era that we are in, where there are no jobs.
And there's no job security.
You know, people graduate. It's sad. People graduate, people are home, you know, and you are wondering, is this how it's going to be for the next X amount of years? What should change? That's why the economies, the countries are talking and preaching about entrepreneurship, because they see that that's the route that can really improve people's lives, can improve the economies of the countries and the likes.
And you know, Tebogo, before, if I may share this, before we got on set, you're talking about how you're such a writer. You know, you're always writing things down, and I think that's something you and I have in common. But you write absolutely everything down, and even in prior conversations with you, you've always talked about how from back way when you were even in university, just writing things down. What value have you found in doing that? And just maybe even over time, maybe having some of those things that you've written down being realized, and how does that encourage you and push you to continue just noting things down and dreaming as big as you do?
You know, the thing about writing or journaling, it gives you peace of mind. It clarifies things. You know, my late grandfather used to say that a pen doesn't forget. You know, if you note something down, you are likely to remember it, as compared to me having an idea about a business that I want, or how I would want to improve my businesses, and then just think about it and not write it down, you know, I'm likely to forget it. You know, there's just a lot of things. There's family, children, business. There's just a lot of things.
So many things.
So many things that you are likely to forget. But when you write things down, you know, it helps. At a later stage, you can always go back and say, oh, okay, this is actually what I wrote 2 years ago, and now it's here, you know. And also, you writing about things, there is a way of it manifesting. You know, you keep thinking about it. You keep thinking about it that I want to do this. You are noting it down. You are expanding it as to how you want to do it. Small goals, small objectives of how you are going to achieve it, and eventually, it manifests. You know, it's something that you are constantly cautious, constantly thinking about. You know. So I like writing, and it's actually something that I want to learn more how to write, because I'm just writing, you know.
And you know, you are a mom, you are a daughter, you have children, you know, you have your own family, and at the same time you are doing this entrepreneurship thing, which all of them, they're full-time jobs. If I may call it that. You know, what are some measures that you've put in place? And the reason I'm asking this question this way is because people don't like this thing of, I've noticed a lot of women saying, you know, people never ask men, how do you balance everything? But they ask women, how do you balance everything? But, you know, what measures have you put in place to ensure that you are giving yourself to every single one of your role to the best of your ability? And also, how does it feed into your role as an entrepreneur? You know, maybe wanting to show your children the way, wanting to, the same way that your children, your parents did it, maybe not even realizing that they were doing it. But, you know, how does your role, like the other different roles that you play, feed into your role as an entrepreneur?
Yeah, that's a very difficult one, because everybody wants a piece of me. You know, like you are saying, I'm a
You're
daughter.
in demand.
Yeah, you know, like you're saying, I'm a daughter, and I have to take care of my parents. You know, that's one of the things that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I said I wanted to take care of my parents. I think they've done a good job raising me, and I wanted to take care of them. Even when I was starting a business, they were very encouraging, only to learn later that my father was very apprehensive, like, you know, she's still young, why is she? But look at him now, he's driving, for the first time he's driving a brand new car, because we bought him a car. You know,
that's beautiful.
So it's something that really I'm very happy, makes me very happy that I bought myself, I bought my father a brand new car for the first time in his life. You know, so so I have to be a daughter to Mr. and Mrs. Mudiagani, you know, and I have to be a wife to Max, you know, and it's not easy as well. It's not an easy role. And it's a relationship. You constantly have to improve at it. Being a wife, being a friend to your husband, you know, you constantly have to work on that relationship. I mean, I work on it. He does also puts his effort. So. And I'm also a mother. 2 girls, very energetic girls, and they are both special in their own ways, you know. And with Tigele, even now, I find myself that 3 times a week we have to do speech therapy. You know, at school she will need an assistant. I need to, you know, the truth is this. There is not really balance. What we really say, people will say, how do you balance life, personal life and business life? Really, there is no balance. You know, there is a season for everything. You know, there is a season for, first you focus, you work hard, and then you will reap the rewards of you having focused and worked hard. Now, you get the balance now. from the focus that you put in, from the hard work that you put in. You know, the reason why I'm saying there are seasons, it's not all the time that you are busy all the time.
Yeah.
And you don't necessarily have time for your family, your loved ones all the time. You know, winter and summer don't come at the same time.
True.
You know,
Yeah.
and there's a season for me now having the balance. You know,
Yeah.
and I have learned that, I've accepted that, I am embracing it, that balance is hard.
Yeah.
I just have to accept that this is the season for this,
Yeah.
and this season will come.
Yeah.
But having said that, I try by all means to be there for my family. I've been an entrepreneur since 2009, and that came with me developing systems
Okay.
at my workplaces, processes
Yeah.
that allow me not to be the technical person, that allow me not to be the full-time employee,
Yeah.
you know, that allow me now that balance.
Yeah.
So I had that season.
Yeah.
Now I am enjoying the season now of the hard work that balances my situation, but it doesn't mean that the hard work stops.
True. Yeah.
It's a continuous, it keeps coming.
Yeah.
We keep evolving. Different things come. We learn about different things. You embrace that Tebogo in 2009 is a completely different Tebogo. In 2022, I have
Yeah.
grown.
2023.
2023.
So we are-
Oh my God! I'm still in 2022.
Yeah, come back. I think you probably had a really great festive season. So you are, yeah, 2023.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how. Yeah.
That's very realistic, and I like you talked about systems and processes, and you know I've heard a lot of entrepreneurs and you know people in business talk about that's one of the most challenging things to do.
Yes.
But once you've done it, it actually pays off because again, like you said, you are able to step away and give way for them to do the work to where you don't have to be the one doing the work daily.
Yeah.
You know, you talked about Tigele who has Down syndrome,
Yeah.
you know, and you know what has that experience been like for you? And I know that there are certain things you talked about. Is it Botswana Association for
Down Syndrome Association
Down
of
Syndrome
Botswana?
Association of Botswana? What is that about, and what role is it that you're doing through that?
It's about raising an awareness
Okay.
about Down syndrome
Okay.
and disability.
All right.
You know, inclusion, equity. You know, and really raising awareness around disability, around Down syndrome. That if you have a child with Down syndrome,
Yeah.
with a disability, it is not the end of the world. You know, it doesn't mean that you now have to stop living. Yeah, when Tigele was born, you know, obviously you are thinking, why me?
Yeah.
And then my husband says, why not us? You know, this child is just at the right place. You know, it is she's our first. We have not been exposed to any parenting, you know. We are going to learn parenting with her, you know. Why not us? He just made things so easy for me.
Wow. Tigele is the firstborn, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
He just made things so easy for me, and I wanted to know why Tigele was given to us. You know, what was the purpose? You know, and now I think I know. You know, my purpose here on earth, you know, is to give hope. You know, I am learning every single day
Yeah.
about being a mother to Tigele, being a mother to Tichina, because Tichina as well has got her own gifts.
Yeah.
And so it's such a fulfilling journey
Yeah.
to be a mother, and even more fulfilling being Tigele's mother.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's we thank God, we praise God. We as a family, we know why we have Tigele. Her sister may not necessarily know now, but she's very protective of her older sister.
And how old are the girls now?
The other one is 12, the other one is 8.
Can't believe Tigele is almost a
Tigele
teenager.
Yes, Tigele is almost a teenager.
Oh wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, there are a lot of challenges raising a child with a disability,
Yeah.
because it's different.
Yeah, and I can imagine
she has got
sorry,
her
go
own.
ahead.
She has got her own way of
Yes.
understanding and comprehending things. You know, we are fitting into how she understands things. You know, and also we are also teaching her to understand us as well.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
so it's a relationship.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. I love that. And, you know, you really are doing such a phenomenal job, and you're such a beautiful family. Just, you know, all
Thank
of you. And
you.
I have seen some of the photos shared and stuff. And I can imagine just how much more, you know, when you talk about now the Down Syndrome Association as well, that there's so many things you've had to learn from scratch. And it's no secret that even as Botswana, we still have such a long way to go in understanding Down syndrome, and just even so many other, you know, the other forms of disability as well. And so, you know, I believe that, you know, just the association is going to give people more hope. Right?
Yeah.
More hope, more information as well. And just like what you said, to learn to see things from a different perspective.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, Tebogo, you mentioned that you are a Christian, you're a woman of faith. How has your faith played into your business specifically? How has it carried you through your business?
You know, I strongly believe that I am where I am because of my faith. You know, business has got a lot of challenges, and as an entrepreneur, you are building a future, something that is not tangible, something that people don't understand. Even you sometimes don't really understand. And it's hard. It's like Noah when he was building an ark in the middle of the desert.
People just didn't
you know,
get it.
many years people didn't get it. He was a mockery. You know, people just didn't get it. But look what came out of that sweat, that determination, that tenacity. You know, so it's faith really has brought me to where I am. Believing in myself, believing in God. You know, because sometimes as an entrepreneur, there are situations that you just don't know how you are going to get out of them. There are situations where you just don't know, okay, do I now sit in the car and cry? Or what do I do? You know, and sometimes you learn to take a deep breath, take a short prayer, and say, you know what, God, I leave it in your hands. You know, and that has really worked for me. You know, I tell people that I've seen a lot of miracles in business through my daughter. You know, my faith has brought me to where I am. You know, and also reading the Bible, and seeing the difficulties that the different books in the Bible are teaching about, and you realize that I am in this. You know, you know, sometimes when you are talking to people about business and the Bible, they are like, why are you telling me about God and all that? Okay, it's okay. You don't have to believe in the Bible. You don't have to believe in the Word. But you will believe in my results.
Whoa. Okay.
You know, you will see that. Okay, and you don't have to base your entrepreneurship in the Bible per se. Whatever that, if it's the universe that you are more inclined to, it's okay. I also believe that there is the universe, you know, that will give me things that I'm asking from it, you know. But it doesn't. You will see that business teaches you to believe in something higher than yourself. You know. It could be God, it could be the universe, but my faith has brought me to where I am. You know, and again, what I see with entrepreneurs is that they like to give up very fast. You know, and sometimes we confuse wanting to pray, that I've been praying and praying, I've done everything under the sun, but look where I am, things are not changing. You know, they come to you maybe looking for compassion, and as painful as it is, sometimes it's very important to tell them that, good, we are on the right journey. You are going through that. I went through that as well. You know what?
Moments of wanting to give up.
No. I I never ever wanted to give up.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm just saying that people sometimes, they will come to you saying, but I've been praying and praying and praying. I've done everything under the sun, and I'm just about to give up.
Yeah.
You know, and then this is where you tell them that, you know what, you're not going to be giving them the compassion that they're expecting from you. Okay, sorry, I feel for you, but you're actually on the right track. You are saying you're experiencing this.
Yeah.
Come to me after 2 years, then I will say, okay, maybe let's change direction, maybe. But where you are completely in the right time. You know, and then some people think, entrepreneurs will then tend to think that you have been in this journey for a long time. Now, you know what? Nothing beats experience. You know, the fact that I've been in business 15 years means that all this time, I'm learning some things.
Yes.
I am making mistakes, you know. In business, you should expect failure. You know, expect it. It is it's bound to happen.
Yeah.
You know, it's how you get out of it, what you learn from those failures and the challenges, that makes you now a better person. You know, so yes, my faith has brought me this far.
Yeah. I love that. I can see that. Doctors in, what are some things that maybe have brought you some of the greatest joy when you look back on the journey? You know, just maybe some highlights, some things where, you know, they happen and you said, whew, this has been worth the hard work.
The number of people that I am changing their lives, the people who work for me, seeing the difference in their lives since they started working for me, you know, seeing how impactful Max and I are, how we are changing people's lives, you know, how we are giving people hope, you know, and it gives us so much peace.
Is it something you two talk about? Like
it is something that we talk about.
Yeah.
We are aware of how many people's lives are in our hands.
Okay.
So we don't take that for granted, you know.
Yeah.
We fully understand the responsibility that we have, you know. So we try by all means to make the right decisions. We have got married people, families, fathers, mothers, you know, grandmothers, whose lives are dependent on us. And we don't take that for granted. We respect that, you know. And also the lifestyle that being an entrepreneur affords you. You know, I'm very much proud of myself that I have come this far. You know, and I look at Doctors In, where it started as a physiotherapy clinic, and now we are here. In few months, we will be a private hospital. You know.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It has been a journey.
A journey,
Yes. Falls, going up, you know. It's a journey. Even when you are driving to Francistown, there are things, potholes. You know, some parts of the road are smooth, you know. It's life.
But you're gonna get there.
But you're gonna get there.
If you don't stop along the way.
Yes, if you don't stop along the way. And if you continue believing in yourself, if you are really hungry for success, you are going to find ways of making it. If you really want success, if you really say, I don't want poverty, you know, I want success, you're gonna find ways of being successful.
People should come to Doctors In, should come and see what has happened to Doctors In. I'm very privileged to have seen, I didn't know from the Ngami Physio. I don't think I needed to use your services at the time. But now, you know, just with the Doctors In and just all of what has happened, and now have a staff complement of how many?
Doctors In now we have got 50.
Wow.
Yes, and another business that we are running, we've got other 50 people.
That represents 50 families, 100 families.
Yes. Or even more, because when you look at our culture, one person will be taking care of 3 more people, 4 more people. So, you know, we are happy that we are able to help in that. You know. So Yeah.
And what role would you say that as Doctors In you want to play in the overall landscape of the health and medical industry in Botswana?
We want to, the way we want Doctors In, we are running Doctors In.
Yes.
We want it to be very much competitive.
Okay.
We want to set high standards for ourselves. We are in a tourist place, for instance.
Yeah.
We would not want a tourist to be coming from Europe, coming from overseas, coming here and finding substandard, finding things that are not
up to par.
We had our President Masisi visiting Doctors In June last year, and we don't take that light that the president of the country came to visit our health center. There's obviously something that he saw in us.
Yes.
That we want to contribute positively to the economy of the country. We are aware that we are in a tourist place. We want the tourists to have the feel of a true feeling of our healthcare system. We want to represent our country well. Botswana, as for future plans, Botswana, we are still growing in the healthcare system. We are still growing. There's still opportunities. There's still a lot of services that we have to bring in. So as Doctors In, we are moving in that direction as well, where we want to expand. We want to have more services. As a health center, as a health group, so even scale to different other places and the likes. So yeah,
that's great. I'm going to ask you a question, just throw it in there, and I'm going to put you on the spot.
Oh my God.
Just came to me. Tebogo, at the end of your life, as an entrepreneur specifically, and the role that you play, what do you want to have achieved? Maybe not only necessarily financially, but what overall impact? And when people look back and they point back at your life and said, she did this, she was responsible for A, B, C, D, she was a pioneer. What would you like your life to be summed up as at the end of it?
I think when we were doing Diamond and Earthed at some point.
Yes, the magazine.
Yes, the magazine. I think this question did pop.
I can't remember. Yeah.
But how I want to be remembered, other than being an entrepreneur, a philanthropist, and a mother, a disability advocate.
Yes, yeah.
I want a young girl there, even if it's one or two of them, to say that I had the courage to become a billionaire, to be impactful to the world, to be a change maker to the world, because I was inspired by Tebogo. I want young girls and women in general to step into their power, to know the power that they have in their hands. I want women to know that they don't have to be apologetic about being successful. I want us to have the courage to lean in, to be at the table and say exactly how we feel. So that's the impact that I would want. I would want more women entrepreneurs. So yeah.
And you're already doing that.
Thank you.
You're already doing that. And so how can people get in touch with Doctors In? Do they just step in? Where do they find your, maybe your social media platforms, and what are they?
Yeah, we have a Facebook page. We have LinkedIn page. We have an Instagram page.
Okay.
Our pages are very busy, actually, very educating. Yeah, just go in there. You are going to definitely learn a lot of things, about your health personally and all those things. And Doctors In is situated at in the main mall in Maun, opposite the rural administration offices.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's where Doctors In Yes, and
Yeah.
Doctors Inn has got physiotherapy, pharmacy, general practice, specialists that I mentioned earlier. We have got laboratory, we have got radiology. In the radiology department, we have got ultrasound, we have got X-ray, and we also have got a mammogram.
Okay.
Okay.
Lovely.
And we are also very big on occupational health.
Okay.
Yeah, we have got an occupational physician and occupational consultant, Dr. Max.
Yeah.
So that's Doctors Inn.
Yeah.
And like I said, we are expanding into a hospital in the next few months. We will be doctors in private hospital.
Yeah. Well, Tebogo, thank you so much for taking the time to, to just be here and to share of your wisdom. I've always known you as someone who, I think one of the best things that comes to my mind, to say right now is Maya Angelou's, she says what does she say? When you learn, teach, and when you get, give. And that's how I can sum you up at this moment. There's so much more that I could say about you, but you're very much intentional about imparting your knowledge, about imparting who you are, about imparting what you've learned so far. And I just want to thank you so much for the contribution that you make, not only in Maun, just, when I think about the presence of what you're doing through Doctors Inn, it's already just changing the landscape of Maun. It's changing the landscape of the health industry in Botswana. Both you and Dr. Max, such phenomenal people and genuinely caring. I've seen how, to you, clients are not just clients. They are part of the community, and you really just want to see people well. So thank you so much for the contribution that you and Dr. Max are doing, not only through Doctors Inn, but through all of these other endeavors. And I pray that God would continue to give you the strength for you to achieve all of your wildest dreams.
Thank you. Thank you.
That was a very phenomenal sit down with the wonderful Tebogo Nhlatho, who is doing such phenomenal things in the health and medical industry, both her and her husband, through their company Doctors Inn and all of their other endeavors. And I sincerely hope that you're noting things down, because we talked about writing things down, and sometimes we can take these things for granted, that I'm going to remember what she said. If it needs for you to sit down and watch this again when you are relaxed, when you're not in a hurry, to be able to take in all of these nuggets, because people pay to hear this type of wisdom, please go back and watch it. Please share it with your other loved ones. If you know that there's someone that this is going to speak to, please share the link. And you can also go ahead and subscribe, because we'll be bringing you we're going to be bringing you more. Like it, help us get out there. Also comment if there are any questions that you have, if there's something that stood out to you, if there's something that inspires you. Please, let's talk, let's exchange dialogue, and let's continue to grow together. And so this was Nompendulo Shabangu on Business Unearthed, bringing you yet another exciting installment. And we will see you again next time. Thank you very much for joining us.